Back here in this country, President Trump invited rank-and-file House Democrats to lunch today, essentially going over the head of House Speaker Nancy Pelosi. But none of them showed up. It was the president's latest effort to get Democrats to the table to talk about the funding for a border barrier or wall and trying to find an end to the partial government shutdown. Here's Chief White House correspondent John Roberts on what happens now. Good evening, John.
Brett, good evening to you. What happens now is the president will continue to try to appeal to moderate Democrats on his calls for money for border security, including building a border barrier. But today, an effort to do that failed when two of the co-chairs of the Blue Dog Coalition and some other Democrats said to the president, "Thanks, but no thanks."
President Trump invited a handful of Democrats to the White House today, along with an equal number of Republicans, to talk border security. None of the Democrats took him up on the offer.
I think it's pretty telling. This was supposed to be a bipartisan lunch, and the sheer fact that not a single Democrat was able to show up is pretty telling as who wants to negotiate and who doesn't.
The lunch reinforced the White House mantra that President Trump is willing to cut a deal, but Democrats only want to obstruct. On Capitol Hill, Senate Minority Leader Chuck Schumer insisted he is willing to talk anytime, anywhere.
Well, I'll meet with him anytime he wants. As you know, the last time I spoke with him was when he walked out, threw a temper tantrum and walked out. So we haven't heard from him since then.
President Trump trolled the new House Speaker on Twitter today, writing, quote, "Why is Nancy Pelosi getting paid when people who are working are not?" Pelosi trolled him right back in a tweet saying, "Stop holding the paychecks of 800,000 Americans hostage. There is no reason for them to be suffering right now. Reopen the government. Hashtag Trump shutdown." Republicans again accused Democrats of ignoring national security just to stick it to the president.
The question is, why have they all of a sudden flip-flopped on this issue? And the answer is pretty clear. It's because this is now an idea that comes from President Trump, and the Democrats clearly don't want to give the president a victory on this issue.
The lingering effect of the shutdown took on new significance today. The Commandant of the Coast Guard, Admiral Carl Schultz, tweeting to his coasties, "Today you will not be receiving your regularly scheduled paycheck. To the best of my knowledge, this marks the first time in our nation's history that service members in a U.S. armed force have not been paid during a lapse in appropriations." With tax season approaching, the Treasury Department today announced it would call back more than half of the IRS's workforce later this month without pay to handle tax refunds, but that the agency may still not be able to fulfill some key functions. While all sides claim they want to end the shutdown, there is no movement toward compromise.
I'd like to see proposals going back and forth every day.
Democrats believe they can simply outwait President Trump as the shutdown begins to bite.
You're not winning the fight. You may be in your own untruth bubble, but you're not winning the fight. Everyone knows that. We certainly do.
President Trump continues, or plans at least to continue, to invite over moderate Democrats to the White House to try to talk to them about the need for border security. Tomorrow, he may have over members of the so-called Problem Solvers Caucus. We're not sure if that is going to happen. Asked today about the fact that Democrats shunned the president and did not take him up on his invitation, the House Majority Leader Steny Hoyer said, quote, "My advice to members is that if the president invites you and wants to talk, you ought to go down to the White House." Brett?
I need some problem solvers. John Roberts live on the North Lawn. John, thanks.